Good morning, everybody. We are back out here on day 3 with this mulching project over here where we had the homeless camp. I guess you could call this technically day 3, but the first day I was out here with the skid steer, I was only out here for right at maybe 3 hours. So yesterday was my first full day out here, and I was basically out here with the mini grubbing and mulching. And today all we really got to do is just do a little bit of fine-tune work, and that'll be about it. So let's just take a look real quick at what we got. All right, so really all we got to do in here is pick up some trash. Kelly's gonna come here in a bit and help me walk through here, and we'll just kind of walk through here and police call up as much of the trash as we can kind of pick up. But first I need to get some space in here, so I'm gonna start grinding up some of these piles that are in my way, and then I'm gonna go get the mini. But I want to get some of this stuff out of my way, and then I can maybe start dragging this stuff maybe over into this section here and mulch it that way. That ought to work pretty good. So that's what we're going to do, and then I'll take that stuff over there and we'll bring it into this section and mulch it right here going that way, and that'll be good. And then we'll just go around, we'll blow off the edges, clean up, like I said, pick up the trash, and that'll be it. So let's get to grinding. All right, guys, just went and picked up the Mini. Mulcher's working great. This door on this thing has been a lifesaver on this job. I mean, I could have done this with the Prenoth, but having this door on this thing has made this so much easier and more convenient. So I'm gonna back the skid steer up a little bit. I'm gonna pull the Mini right up over here, and because this thing has the door on it, I'm not really concerned about the Mini being up here and something being thrown at it. So I'll just put the Mini like right here. We'll just start grabbing this stuff, dragging it back into this area here. I'm gonna back the skid steer back into that hole, and we'll grind that pile and that pile, and then we'll just turn it around and we'll start dragging that pile this way and just start grinding it up. And we'll be, the only thing I'll have left to do after that is a little bit of mulching up there along this edge and that corner. I'm gonna take the skid steer up there and just clean that up a little bit, and then we'll blow the edges off, blow and rake the edges. And Kelly's already coming help me get the trash up, and then I just need to take the Mini in the bucket, grab those couple piles of trash, throw them in the dumpster, and we'll call it a day. So let's get it done. does a great job of keeping this stuff from going everywhere. And honestly, so I ran John over at Upstate Rust Control. I ran his bullhog with the trap door, and I think the door on this one does a little bit better job of keeping this stuff from being thrown. Which that one did good too, but it would still throw stuff out a decent little ways. But this one doesn't throw hardly at all. I mean, it barely throwing anything out the front. And just to give you a comparison, get the door, I'll bring the door up. So the door's all the way up now. You can see it right there. Watch how much this thing throws with the door up. I mean, it definitely just chucks stuff everywhere. Woo. So, but with the door down, hardly nothing. And the door, the inside liner of the door has counter cutters on it. So as the stuff is coming out the front, it's being ground up on the front, or I guess you could say the backside edge of the door, the inside edge of it. So having the door down really helps process this material down a lot faster too. It's not just hitting a smooth, and the backside of the door is not smooth. It's actually, it has ridges and counter cutters on it that just really helps break this material up when you got the door down. Uh-oh, got a little clog there. Yeah, this thing's doing a great job. And it's leaving a really nice mulch too. I told them when they asked me about it, I said, don't send me ahead with carbides. Do not send me ahead with carbides. So it's got to have knives. It's got to have chipper teeth. Carbides are big over in Europe. They use a lot of carbide. They do a lot of PTO. They do a lot of mulching with PTO, like big farm tractors. And they run them off the back of the tractor with a PTO. And that's how they do a lot of mulching over there in Europe. They don't do a lot of hydraulic stuff. Hydraulic's not big over there. But even with the tune on this thing not being perfect, it's still running great. Chewing this stuff up, not too much problem. We'll move the GoPro really quick, but yeah. All right, let's grind. I'd be throwing stuff all the way out into the road. And then if I were to mulch it pointing back this way, I'd be worried about stuff surfboarding, going up under the machine and shooting back out towards the road. That's a concern also. But going this way, I've got nothing behind me, and this thing with this door is just not going to shoot stuff that far out to the road. I mean, I'm still a good ways out from the road. But if I were to not have this door on this thing or the prenup, it wouldn't work. It would not happen. So this was when they told me they were going to send me this and it had a trap door, I'd already lined this job up. I said, I've got just the job. I've got just the job for this mulcher. And it has been money on this job. Absolute money. Alrighty, folks, that's the fact jack on that. I got my earplugs still in. Talking a little loud. There we go. Yeah, we're done. We are done. Got the barriers put back in place. The guy who came over, I guess they're building these condos, he's like, people are driving through here and using my dumpsters. I'm like, well, you don't have a gate down there on the other end. How is that my fault? But he's like, you said you're gonna put the barriers back. I was like, yeah, I'm not done yet. Like, I'll take care of you. So anyway, yeah, we're done. I've already had the city inspectors come by, which this was not a city job. I think this guy, the owner here, got a complaint actually from the police department because of these people. Probably these people over here were complaining, most likely, or over there. Regardless, I wanted the inspectors to come by just to make sure everything was good. And they said, yeah. The owner came by. He's super happy with everything. We talked about the vines. I tried to just cut them at the bottom of the trees, and then we were actually talking about it. Hopefully they'll all just die, and then, you know, if we get a hurricane this year or a good thunderstorm, they'll turn brown and hopefully just fall out of the trees. So that's the goal. And then I'm gonna refer him to Greg to have Greg come over here and hopefully spray all this, and that'll keep a lot of these vines and gum trees and wisteria and all that stuff from going back. But just got the trash in the dumpster, and yeah. Now, if this was like a backyard and this was a beautification job, there still wouldn't be much I'd be able to do about the vines way up in those trees. They're not coming out, you know. But I probably would have cleaned up around the trees a little bit better. But for this, they don't care about that. The owner doesn't care about that. The city doesn't care about that. All they want is to be able to drive by down these roads with the police and be able to see through here and make sure nobody's camping or dumping or whatever. Because what happens with the homeless encampments, what they consider that when they come in here and build these encampments, they're not supposed to be here. And even if they build a structure, that structure is not permitted if they have a tent or whatever. So it's deemed illegal dumping. And that's kind of what the homeless end up doing here is, you know, when they tell them to leave, they leave all their stuff, and it basically gets dumped, and then I have to come in, or the owner or whoever has to come in and clean it all up. So that's kind of how they treat that. Listen, I don't really, most of the homeless issues, you want my opinion on it, you know, the majority of these people either have addiction problems. They're, you know, in my opinion, that's a disease. You know, it's just like having cancer or whatever. It is a, you know, a health issue. They have a disease that's called addiction, or they have mental illness. Typically, a lot of them have both. Some of that is from their drug addiction. Some of they just have mental illness and they use drugs to cope with that. One or the other, or both. And so I try not to hold too much against them, but yeah, they leave a mess, and it just is what it is. So, but this thing did great. I'm wondering if I could get a little bit more performance out of it with a little bit better tune, but I don't think it would be a whole lot, you know, to be like make a huge difference. It did get, you know, clogged up with that wisteria a few times, but that would have happened with the pre-noth. I mean, you know, you get into those, I call them spaghetti monsters. When you rip those things out in the big piles, you can't separate that stuff, and as soon as one of those teeth grabs one of those vines, the whole thing just gets gone in there. And you know, that would have happened with the pre-noth too. So I can't really fault that thing for getting stopped up. It would have happened with the other mulcher, but this thing eats. Did a great job in here. Like I said, I think there's some design issues that would make this thing a little bit better. But that has nothing to do with the actual rotor and the teeth or anything like that, the way it actually eats material. It's more to do with the other design of the actual housing, not really the drum. But we'll get into that. But overall, I've been super happy with it. The door on this thing, I love it. I would not really have been able to do this job like I wanted to, or as easily with the pre-noth. So this could not have come at a better time, on a better job to showcase that door. That door does a great job of limiting stuff being thrown out. I mean, I was right here, nothing was going out into that street. Didn't even come close to it. But if you put that door up, holy moly, does this thing throw. Good night. So because you can see the drum, I mean, this is where it pivots at. So I mean, there's a lot of that drum gets exposed when you roll that door back. But I like it. I do like it. It's a great head. Really good head. But we'll get into the weeds of this thing a little later. I'll do a whole review video. And yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed it. And another job done. All right, everybody, thanks for watching today. This was a fun job in here to get done. But I am out of here. I'm going on vacation for the next week. But you guys will still see this content. This will be the last video. I'll probably post this video on the day I come back from vacation. And then I've already got 3 or 4 mulching jobs already lined up when I get back. Some with this, some with little munchy, but we got work to do when we get back. But I am out on vacation. I'm going up to Easley, South Carolina with a bunch of my family members for the week up there. That's not too far from Greenville where John is. If I was actually not on vacation, I might would hang out with John, but I'm on vacation, so I'm getting away from work for a little bit. And this past Saturday was my first day off in over a month, and so I have been going at it work-wise. So, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This project turned out great. I'm really excited to be using this new mulcher head, and so I will see you guys next week. Like I said, you'll still see content, but I'll see you guys next week, and enjoy your week, and I'm out. Bye, everybody.